It's Friday, 1929, 54 seconds, year 2024, 12th month, December, 27th day. This goes along with the Guitar Christmas series, vid number 4. Should be short. Brother Jay. Now, he gets easily triggered with words, or that he's just using words as an excuse to butt in. And remember, it also could be unconsciousness that's responding. So, sometimes known as the mud-stuck, abusive young child bully, bull dyke, lesbian, state nanny type. Pulling strings behind the scene with electronic demon possession, which is at another level is unconsciousness, universal unconsciousness, the bankruptcy. So 2 points here. Jason got triggered, and the triggering happened when Russell is talking to Dad. There's a conversation going on with Dad and Russell outside on the back porch. Dad likes to smoke cigarettes. And then Jay comes out, usually because there's conversation going on. And that could be, an insecurity, feeling like he's being talked upon. That's one of the reasons and all that, but it's all just could be's. They're just considerations as evidence. Anyway, so Dad and I are talking. Doesn't always happen to where Jay comes out, but it has happened. There's a pattern there. This time, for this subject, Jay was there already in the chair across. We sit across from each other, and Dad sits against the wall of the house, facing out the yard, and then we're lengthwise with the house, facing each other. And so, Dad's curious how Boob the cat is, and Brother started talking about her constipation, and her turds were hard and stuff like that. And Jason butted in, and it all became a story about Jason. He says, "Oh yeah, I know all about that, because that's what happened to me when he had to have his colon cut and stuff like that." And then that got into this. That opened up the bag of worms for him to pull his shirt up and show his latest scar, because he just almost died. He got a hole in his stomach from out drinking alcohol consistently all the time. And all the fluids leaked into his body cavity. They had to open them up and all that. And so, okay. And another thing to add to that, his surgery story, his ulcer, hole in the stomach surgery story, is as he was telling all the details with his surgery and his situation, he was laughing. He'd say something, then he'd break up into laughing, and it almost looked like it was Michelle that was Sister Michelle in a way. There's a memory there. It's like all of a sudden brother was looking at Michelle and remembering, wow, back in childhood, that looks like a Michelle laugh. and all the different insights that there are with the Michelle laugh. You know, robot controlled and all the other stuff, electronically demon possessed. But yeah, laughter. And every time Jay would laugh, Dad would look at me, and I would look at Dad, and then Jay would continue on. Jay would say something, and he'd laugh. And one of the other things he mentioned too is that he said he didn't have no insurance, but he was able to. They presented him and said he can sign up for insurance, and they came back to him. They said he got the best insurance that they got, called Medicaid, and he didn't have to pay 1 cent, and it was $2 million worth of surgeries because they had to go in twice. All the MRAs, they MRA'd him multiple times, figuring out what's good, the things that are going on with him. He couldn't figure it out, and finally something got figured. And so he says he's got a stack of paperwork that thick. So, and when he mentioned that too, that same laughter came out. It's kind of like but it was more laugh oriented, but kind of like that's just looking at me straight in the eye, just so anyway, and it seemed kind of odd. It did kind of seem kind of odd, but there's always laughter there for all kinds of reasons. But and there's high level military that would be surveilling it all and know exactly where the laughter is rooted, as well as also some high level military are behind the laugh, pressing the button, and also laughing and have technology that their laugh is coming right through Jason. So you're sitting there in their chair, saying stuff and laughing, as evidence to consider. Not saying that it is; it just could be. Anyway, so that was one of the, trigger word. It was the hard turds. And then next was the other one where Jay started sharing that he doesn't have anything. He doesn't have a house. He might lose his job. I can't figure out how the hell I can have a house and not have a job. And that was triggered. That was triggered because Dad and I were out there talking, or just regular small talk. And as Jay came out the door, this brother was still continuing the subject, which was heaters, and wood was part of the subject. And Russell said to Dad, "Yeah, I chopped a lot of wood this summer." And then Jason used that was a trigger for Jason, and he went on off a whole different tangent, and it's dominating the conversation. And it's all about, we got 5 cords of wood out there. How come you just didn't come get 5? He's fabricating stories and conclusions and assumptions. Or not him, but it could be him and, unconsciousness, robot controllers. There's an opportunity here now to fabricate stories. This brings up, kind of the base, some of the roots could be roots with Miranda rights. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be held against you. That would be kind of like a universal lawful side to it. Anything anyone says, someone can instantly blow it out of proportion and come up with all kinds of shit with it. So sometimes it's incumbent just to remain silent, especially around different people or humanoid robot people. Or unconsciousness that has a body and a host to speak through. So and so it was the wood, the wood subject. Chopped a lot of wood this summer. That was the trigger. And it turned into a fabricated. It's like a fake news story in a way. They just run with half a sentence. And the assumption is that the speaker's assumption is the correct one. And at this point, listening to the brother's kind of thinking to himself, oh, I guess he went to his room and took a couple swigs of his favorite drink, alcoholic drink, and now he's feeling more courage in a bottle to dominate. The courage in a bottle is the superpower that knows everything and wants to dominate and control everything. So, could be. It's all just could be's. These are, could be this, could be that. But anyway, those are the 2 points. One was the cat, talking about the cat's hard turds, and then all of a sudden it was Jason dominating the conversation now. And this Sicily brother, Russell, has noticed this pattern. This is a consistent pattern with Jay now. Because now that Jay is leaving with Dad and spending time with Jay now, starting to see the things that come out of Jay and how Jay is, and how he carries himself and whatnot. It's all centered around it. It seems like he's being talked about, and that's the wrong thing for him to sense that he's being talked about. And those things are all his fault or something. Whatever the trigger words that come out, it's just pure fake media assumptions just start popping out. Fake media with that demanding, you better just shut up and listen to what I got to say attitude, and it's going to cut off any attempt to speak up. It's going to cut it off because it's that drunk wanting to control everything type spirit. And so for those that have had experience with drunks or intoxicated, courage in a bottle or courage in a can, there's a comprehension there when the Sicily brother says that. The ultimate authority spirit all of a sudden comes forth. They ain't gonna be interrupted. So for the most part, the brother just relaxes and listens to him and lets him get out all the things he wants to get out. So anyway, so those 2 points right there. Part 4 for the video later. This is just evidential record. That's all it is. It's just an evidential record. It's like a memoir, or a record, a memoir. Some call it a diary. Could be also called a livery. A livery. Called a delivery. Now it's a death livery. It's called a relivery. To relive. Relive is to hash things through, talk it out, sing it out. It's just like having a conversation to talk things through. Talking to the self in a mirror. So, all evidential could be. So, later.